Easy.
All right, I'm John Bria, the publisher of Wingsurfing Magazine and wingsurfingmag.com. I'm here with Mike Raper, the brand director of North, and you guys launched two new wings very recently, the new Mode Pro and the new Loft Pro. So I'll jump on the other side of the camera here and ask you some questions about it.
Thanks, bro. Welcome, guys. As you said, my name is Mike Raper, brand director for North. We are incredibly proud of the new Mode Pro and the new Loft Pro. So the Loft Pro was based, you may remember last year we had a wing called the Nova Lightwind. It was just a little bit confusing for people. So we decided, let's give it a whole new name, let's give it a complete overhaul. And we've introduced the Loft Pro in two different sizes, 7 meter and 8 meter. And if you're looking for a wing that's going to get you up in planing in sub-white capping conditions, I'm talking 8, 10, 12 knots, this is absolutely the wing for you. And especially if you're a bigger person, you're looking for that raw grunt and that raw power, but I warn you, it has no top end. So it really is a dedicated super light wind wing. You'll notice there's a 7 meter and an 8 meter. So we just refined it down to two sizes. The most important thing you'll notice is this material, which is N-Weave 45. So we introduced N-Weave last year, but you'll notice there's a really nice little crosshatch running a film. And this film is running underneath the UPE. So this UPE is the same as what we had last year. But the challenge we had in the past was the N-Weave. Although it was stiff, we wanted it to be even stiffer. So we added this cross ply into here. And what that's doing is it's stopping the wingtips from bending away, especially when you start to get loaded up. And it really helps to keep a really rock solid airframe so that there's no deformation, there's no twisting off of the wingtip. So we're super proud. It's obviously really lightweight. It's about, stiffness wise, I think it's 4 or 5 times stiffer than a standard Dacron. And depending on the warp or the weft or the bias, the direction of the yarn, it's come out really well. Standard canopy material, because we don't want to, in a light wind wing, we don't want to introduce the matrix material, which is a little bit heavier. It just gets a little bit too heavy in your hands. And to be honest, in light wind conditions, a lighter canopy is fine. It's not going to blow out. As long as you're not riding overpowered, it's going to hold its shape really nicely. All of the Loft Pros come with the carbon handles, so we've really worked super hard on reducing the weight of the wing. And you'll notice it's got a really nice foam, EVA foam front handle, which doesn't absorb water. So when you're depowering that wing, you've got that nice lightweight.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the light wind market for winging is starting to split in two almost, where you've got people that are going with the bigger size wings on their either their first board with the big foil underneath.
Yep.
Or they're going onto the more the new style not directional, but the downwind style boards that are long and narrow.
Yes.
And using a slightly smaller wing.
Yes.
Where do you see that going? Because you guys have been working on both right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting dilemma, and I think it depends what camp you're in. I think there's a lot of people that are looking for a loft wing which just has pure grunt and power, and they just, some people just struggle to get up on the foil. And if you're one of those people, we've benchmarked this against all our closest light wing competitors. It seems to be winning all the reviews at the moment. We're incredibly proud of that performance in light conditions. What it means is you can take out a pretty big wing and like a 7 meter and 8 meter, and you can ride it with quite a small hydrofoil wing, which means you can really carve and turn and actually go pretty damn fast on a much smaller, higher aspect ratio wing if you want to. So across the water gives you really high speed in light wind conditions. The flip side of that is you could go for a smaller wing, a hand wing or wind wing, and then combine that with a larger hydrofoil wing. And that's another way of riding. If you don't feel you need a big wing, then don't go towards the loft, but you can stick with the Mode Pro, and the Mode Pro will take you through that whole range there.
Okay, cool. I've been riding, I've tried it, that new 2100 MA foil that you guys came out with. I definitely noticed that when I was using a big wing last year, my arms would get tired pretty quickly. I started using a harness line, and I noticed in Portugal when I tried the 2100 with this wing that my arms didn't get tired.
Yeah, it's got a lot more. It's got a lot less pull and a lot more forward drive, because there's a fundamental difference between, there's a lot of wings out there with scoop trailing edges, and you get on them and you think, wow, this has got a lot of pull, and it pulls you up on the plane quickly. However, it keeps pulling downwind. It doesn't fly forward. So we've been working really, really hard with AWSI, our wing designer, and the entire team to try and design a wing that not only pulls you up and forward, but once you're up, it drives you forward. And that's the key difference with our designs compared to some of our competitors, is that it gets you up and riding, but most importantly, you're able to get upwind quickly and easily, and that's what most of us are looking for, because we just want to ride bumps and lumps and swells downwind once we're upwind, or go adventuring. You know, it's the best thing about foiling is that it lets you get out to these places that you never dreamt of visiting before, and you can get there pretty quickly, chuck on a vest, chuck in some water, go on a bit of an adventure with your friends. So yeah, I think it really opens up those, especially in places like Florida and places where it's a little bit lighter wind conditions. This is the Loft Pro is definitely the one for you.
Cool. And now you've got the new mode.
Yeah, the new mode. Super proud. This was released about a month ago. And you'll notice again there's an N-Weave 45 airframe, so super lightweight, really durable. This stuff is I can't tell you how durable it is. It's you can scratch it, it's UV stable, really stable, super durable materials. And that's actually where we found it with North Sails. We've been working really hard on developing the materials in-house. And this has led to the N-Weave 45. So it's a material that we make ourselves. There's not many kite or wing companies that develop and design their own materials, but because of our history with North Sails, we've been able to really leverage that relationship internally. We've got some amazing guys, David Little and the crew, who've been working on really optimizing materials. You'll notice the second big thing about the Mode Pro is the matrix canopy material. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a little slightly shiny finish here. And this is about 2.5 to 3 times stiffer than a traditional kite canopy material. So what it means, it is a little bit heavier. It's about 80 grams, but we've decided that that's okay, because what it does is it holds the shape for easily an entire season. Like where before you had a stiff airframe, if you had a standard canopy, sometimes, especially in the stronger wind conditions, it would start to bag out and lose a little bit of a shape, and at the end of the season it wasn't quite the wing that you first pulled out of that lovely fresh new bag. But what we found now is we can log 100 hours on this, and we've measured it. There's very little difference between its original shape when you pulled it out of the bag and the shape that we have now. So really important to match the canopy with the frame together. So if you've got a stiff airframe, you really make sure you've got that stiff matrix canopy material together. It's a killer combo. Again, carbon handles, super lightweight, and we're really proud of the performance of the Mode. I'll talk briefly about the performance. Mode is all about having a reasonably good bottom end, but having a massive top end. So again, these wings, because of the combination of the stiff materials, you can hold on to them in so much more than you would have done a traditional Dacron, traditional canopy wing. So what we're finding, we've added new sizes. We've added the 3.5, the 4.2. We've got a sick new size, which is a 4.8, seems to be the most popular one in our range for most wind conditions, most advanced riders, 5.5 and 6.8. So between those sizes, we've got a really big wind range. But most importantly, when you're riding now and you're really overpowered, you can take this in another 5-7 knots more than you would have previously. So you can hold on to it. Because it's so stiff, it just reacts to every little gust. You're like, no, I got this, yeah. And it's not backwinding, it's not, and it allows you to ride in a way larger range of conditions that we've been able to before.
I definitely noticed when I was riding the Mode in Portugal, I was on a 5.5 and a lot of guys were starting to come out on 4.2 Novas, and I wasn't even starting to feel even remotely overpowered on the 5.5, and it was just a matter of trimming it differently, and there wasn't any extra pull on my arms. And it stayed really stable. Does it keep that extra stability because of the way the draft is designed? Or is it more the surface tension? Or both?
It's a combination of surface tension. You'll notice there's not a lot of loose canopy here really. We don't have a really scooped, pulled in trailing edge like some of our competitors, because we just don't find it when it helps at the bottom end, it doesn't help on the top end. We want that air that wind and that flow to release off the trailing edge and not to scoop it and slow it down. So what that means is the Mode's a really fast wing. So if you want to go out race some buddies, or you just want to go out and blast around, you can wave ride it, you can free ride it, you can freestyle it. It really does do a little bit of everything, but just super important to remind you, the Mode Pro is designed to have a medium to high top end. It doesn't have, it's got a reasonable bottom end, but not like, let's say, the Nova, which just has a lot of bottom end, or the Loft, which has a lot of bottom end. So it's quite a different wing.
Yeah, the mode definitely feels like it's got that really easy power to get you up and going.
Yeah. We're really proud. I mean, it's a second season now, second version, and I think that continued refinement's really made a big difference.
Yeah. So how is the evolution of the Mode Pro going to influence future versions?
We're learning a lot from this. You know, every time we go through another iteration, and every time we start to test all these different materials in combination, we're just learning so much. And I think that's always gonna filter down through the rest of the range. Yeah. So really lucky to have that. So as you can see, we've been working really hard on our accessories. You notice all of our products come in a recycled cardboard, which we're really proud of, and they display really well on the wall. I'm just going to quickly go into the foot straps. We've got two different types of foot straps. One is what we call the free low, and low stands for low profile. This is made from EVA and it's got a webbing on the inside, but it does not absorb water, so it stays really dry. But most importantly, if you're transitioning between going from straps to no straps, you can still stand on top of these and still keep your balance. So it's kind of that foot strap where I want a foot strap, but I don't always want to be in the foot strap. Go for a free low, because you can stand on top of them and you have no issues with that. This is what we call the V strap. So this V goes at the front and the single strap goes at the back. That also comes in a single strap position as well. All your information's on the back, where you can put your foot straps on the board. You've got a QR code if you've got any questions, and what boards that goes with. These are great, and if you're riding for 2-3 hours, fantastic. But if you're going for a long term, you want something a little bit more cushy. I go adventuring sometimes where I go riding for 2, 3, 4 hours, especially if we're testing. I definitely love the free foot straps. They're a little bit more expensive, but on the inside, you can see this memory foam is what we use on the inside of the harnesses for Mystic, and it's called Knitflex. It's an incredibly smooth, comfortable. You'll notice there's no seaming on the edge. And they're already pre-tensioned, so there's no carving on the inside. Really easy access to these little tabs. You can pull it back, which gives you an incredibly quick access to the screw. Comes with micro screws that you can adjust 180 to get a small micro adjustments in the size. Because once you get your foot strap size, you don't normally adjust it, but you just tweak it a couple of times first time you ride, get the right size. Most people leave it forever, but this is definitely more comfortable than the free lows, but a really nice crossover. This is our free low V strap. Same thing, long distance riding if you want to get your feet into the holders. Harness lines. A lot of people are getting sort of tennis elbows and sore arms. I think you've mentioned that before, John. I think you ride a harness. I ride a harness just because I spend hours and I can hook in a harness, I can crank up wind, and then the coolest thing about this one is you see this PU on the inside is really grippy. If you feel that, it's just like super grippy.
Oh, super grippy.
Which means you can, once you attach this to your bar, it stays in place. It doesn't slip or slide around and it doesn't move. Yeah. So most importantly, when you're riding, I want to crank up wind, I hook in, and then when I don't want it, I push it away with my thumbs and it actually stays up against the canopy and it stays away from my body as I'm riding. When I want to get back downwind again, I want to crank upwind, I just slide it back around. The other really cool feature is how low profile this is. You'll notice this Velcro, when I move my hand along a bar, there's no graphics, there's no PU badges. We've made it really low profile Velcro so that you can move your hand up and down on the bar, and that makes a huge difference for performance perspective. You'll notice the tube is a lot thinner than a traditional windsurfing tube. This 6mm tube, PU tube, is really lightweight as well, and you just don't have that high same loading that you would do on a windsurfing. Comes in two sizes, 26 inches and 22 inches. A lot of people, the other one, this is a great one. This is our protective rail tape. Now, you see all foils are always stored on the edge, on the rail, and you look around the beach and the car park and all the boards are chipped around the outside. If you're spending that much money on a board, I highly recommend coming and getting one of these rail tape savers. It's all pre-cut to length, so you can put two on the front, two on either side and one at the back. Really worth spending whatever it is, 10 bucks, 15 bucks on getting that rail tape going. Highly recommend it. Carbon handles, they don't come standard on our Nova, but if you're a Nova customer and you just want to take a little bit extra weight and you're looking for maybe treat yourself for Christmas, the carbon bars are incredibly lightweight. Come in sizes 400 and 500, just fits on with our standard bolt. Really just use a Torx T40, super easy to release it and get rid of it. With our belts, you'll see this new waist belt has a quick release. So this is a quick release we actually have on our kites, which means it's been ISO tested. Really, really easy to release. If you get in trouble and you get a shore break, something's going wrong, you want to try and release from your board. Critically important, you can pull this and it completely releases you from your board. Super important. You'll notice these also come in little knots, so you can do a lark's head over a knot of something, or you can attach it around here. So if you want to attach your wing leash and attach a different board leash, you can do that. The coolest thing, again, that same Netflix material is on the inside, so really cushy. If you're not wearing a wetsuit, really soft on your body. You're not going to wear your waist away. And just a Velcro. We sell a stack of these. This is what we call the calf leash. It goes just below your knee. And you'll see on the inside, it's got a PU, again, this PU on the inside, which stops, there's nothing worse than a leash that rotates and spins and you don't know which direction it's putting. Once you adjust this to the Velcro at 6, it's got a spin at both ends. Coiled leash, you don't want a long leash backing around on the water, so having a coiled leash makes a really, really big difference. Just make sure that you keep this board attachment rope really short. Classic problem, people make that too long and it cuts into the board. Just a little tip for anyone watching.
Are you finding guys in the surf are gravitating more to the waist for like paddling in and out, or is it pretty evenly split still?
No, it's combo. There's a few guys wearing waist, but I think most of them are going for ankle or calf leashes for prone surfing. These tools, look, in our sport, you need tools, and these projects are actually we spent way too much time, energy, and effort, but we've got the best quality steel we could find for our tools, and that's your Torx T40. It's a tool that we only use one tool for all of our equipment. All of our fuses, everything uses an M8 with the Torx T40. So you only need to definitely buy one of these. Make sure you've got one. But the cool thing is, if you're using foot straps, then we added with this multi-tool. Same really high quality, but we've added a P3 Phillips head, so really easy to screw down those foot straps along with the Torx T40. So you can put it on either end. So if you're looking for a multi-tool, great Christmas present.
I bought a multi-tool that looks similar to that on Amazon.
Yeah.
And it completely blew apart.
They bend and and one twist, especially everyone knows like how tight sometimes maybe you over tighten it, and when you're trying to get it off, I've broken so many tools, so we just got pissed off, to be honest. We're just like, right, we need to put some time, put some energy into this, and it doesn't look important, but once you've been foiling for a while, you realize how important the tools are. Shimming, not for everybody, but if you've been foiling for a little while and you're looking to adjust the feel of your foot straps, you'll notice down here, it sits in a little box. It's got the shims in here, and it's got all the instructions on where you should be shimming, how you should be shimming, different measurements you'll see on the back here of the packaging. You can see all the plus minus so that you're able to start to play around. Definitely recommend it if you've been foiling for a year or two, feeling really confident. It's not expensive. Throw it in the pack and start to play around with shimming on your front and your rear wings. These are super cool.
Yeah, I love that Session Saver box. What a great idea.
Dude, and look, anyone who gets down to the beach and you've forgotten that one critical screw, buy one of these. They're just over $100. Keep in the back of your car truck. It's got all of the different screw sizes that you need. And most importantly, it's got the instructions on which foils that's going to work on. It's got the T40 included with the marine grease. But check out the weight of this. This is all titanium. Super lightweight. So everything that we've got there, titanium. So you've got the most premium fittings there are. So really proud of that. Super lightweight, easy one for us. Make sure you're never going to miss a session. For any of our retailers, we've got a really big box, bindings, kiteboarding equipment on one side. So if you just keep all of that, you've got all your kiteboard gear. Flip side, if you're doing foiling, is your foiling toolkit, same again, but just on steroids. Yeah. And most importantly, this has been a real pet project. We spend a lot of time testing foils, and while we're testing the foils, we're using jet skis or boats. And over the years, I've been tow surfing about 25 years, and I love tow surfing. And I've gone through a lot of HSA, like as one of the most premium tow ropes on the market, in my humble opinion. But they're super expensive. They're $600-700 for a 30-35 foot setup. So what we decided to do was let's make our own one. Hue pinfoil Weld's been amazing. He's got incredible skills in molding. We looked at the competitors and we looked, normally they're in tubes and those tubes just rip off. And you have to tape them up. So what Hugh's done is he's made a really low profile, because as it moves through the water, it's dragging and creating a lot of drag. So this is nice foam, super lightweight, floating. You can get 2 hands on just, or you can ride with 1 hand as you're riding. You'll notice the rope is high visibility yellow, so you can see it. You're not going to drive over it easily. But first time in the industry, Hugh worked out with the suppliers that this is all one piece. It looks like these knots are actually part of the rope. So what happens is it's woven and then it's woven into a knot. And it's really helpful because when you don't get, if you need to quick pick up and you don't have time to wait to get to the handle, you can grab your hands on here, they slip down to here and they hold. And you can pull up 2-3 people on a single rope, which makes a lot of fun if you're towing, proning, that sort of thing. Really squishy memory foam on the inside. Underneath this weave is a foam that does not absorb water and keeps its memory for a long time. Some of our competitors have got really soft foams. We're just geeking out and teching out in these lines. The first set is, the first length is 20 feet. So if you want to take a buddy out, you can attach that to the back of your kite harness, tow out a buddy with the foil. But it comes in a second part of the length, which is this PU here, you can see. The second part of this is the PU, and you'll notice this black PU is about 15 feet long, and what that does is it stops it going under the jet ski or under the boat, so it makes it's really, really helpful. You'll notice there's an eyelet on the end, so there's nothing more painful than when you connect to your ski or your boat and it starts to wear out. This eyelet really, really helps reduce that. You'll notice it also comes with a webbing strap here, so you can put this webbing strap onto the back of your jet ski. You keep that permanently attached to your jet ski, and you've got this easy Velcro to tie it up and keep it out of the way. So we're really proud. Total length is 35 feet, and it's going to be retailing for around about $240, $250 US.
That's quite the price drop from.
Yeah, massive price drop. Yeah, really proud of it. Sonar foil system. Anyone that hasn't tried it, please do. Really good value for money. And you'll notice on the connection here, I challenge anyone, flip up a foil, put some weight onto the wingtips, and I'm 92 kilograms, like over 200 pounds, and I lean all my body weight on that, and you'll see there's just very little flex. Torsionally, really stiff mast connection, really stiff. We call this geo-lock, which is a connection between the mast and the fuse, and that connection is critically important for our connection. That's what gives you that really stiff, high-performance feel. You'll notice on the bottom is what we call these little nuts here. We have what we call a drop box system. So you can drop this into a board, one twist and it slides, and then one twist to tighten it and one twist. Don't do 2 or 3 twists, it's literally that quick. It's just one full twist and you'll be able to lock it entirely. One full twist, you'll be able to slide it out really quickly. We're really proud of our foil addition system. So that all comes in a bag with a mast, a fuse, and a stabilizer. Comes in different lengths. Just if you ever need any information, just go to the North website and look for the North Foil Rider's Guide. We walk you through every step on how to buy a foil, what's right for the right format, what's right for the right style of riding that you're doing. So please check that out. You'll see on this side, this is our HA range that came out about a year ago, just over a year ago. And definitely for the more advanced riders who want to ride in really high speeds. But I think most people, they're going to go to the MA range. The MA range is 2400, 2100, 1850, and even up to 1500 are great for your first beginner wings. These are all the new MA V2, so it's a version 2. And the MA V2 is really important. We released the MAs about 3 years ago, and we finally decided, look, let's update the range, and these puppies are so much fun. They're really good bottom end, they get a really nice gradual lift, but they've got a fantastic top end as well, so super quick. As you get more advanced, you can move from the 15 down to the 1200, the 1050, the 850, the 700 if you're getting really advanced riders. Fantastic for winging is a first choice. And then you notice the surf range, the SF range, the surf range. This surf range is definitely the 1280, the 1230, the 1080, the 930 have been out for some time. However, we've just released the new 830 and the new 680 at the show. So you guys are getting the first look at these new wings. Really fantastic for surfing. They've got an incredibly low stall speed, so you can, and a really, really nice carving turn. So if you're somebody who's looking to go out, whether it's with a kite, whether it's prone surfing, or even wake foiling behind a boat, and you're looking for a wing that's quite slow, this is definitely not a fast wing. However, it's got an insanely low stall speed, so you can get up and you can pump out of almost when you think you're hardly moving, and you can still pump up to speed. So fantastic pumpers. The water flow really connects over the wing and doesn't disconnect, and they're quite happy to change their attack angle or their pitch angle quite aggressively. So you're able to really pump up onto foil versus the MAs, which are definitely designed to go a little bit faster through the water with the wings. But again, all of this information, you can go through your additions. You choose the addition that you want, then you choose a front wing that you want. You can always change those front wings over time. Really important to match the stabilizers with the front wings. So we've done a really good job of making sure we've got the surf series, we've got the free ride series, and we've got the high speed series. These are critically important. The bigger the slower the front wing, you've got to match it with a slow rear stabilizer. If it's a fast front wing, you've got to match it with a high speed fast stabilizer, because you don't want a rear stabilizer and a front wing to be mismatched. There's just no lift. If you've got a really slow front wing and you've got a fast rear stabilizer, you're just not going to have any lift created from that rear stabilizer. As you can see over here, we've got a big range of stabilizers now. The Surf series, the new Speed series, or the High Speed series, and the Free Ride series. The 270s are kind of go-to for most of our editions. We've been really proud. Look, we're investing hugely in the past 3 years in foil design and hydrofoil design. And as a brand, we just felt it's really important to push and advance the sport as hard as we can. And I think we've done an incredibly good job. And finally catching up. You know, we were a couple of years late starting on the foiling program, but I think we're now equal, if not leading the market, and especially in the value for the Sonar Foil edition. So super happy. Yeah.
So I'm guessing that you guys are probably working on a downwind style board, and you're going to come up with a pretty massive front wing. Are you going to be able to use the same setup, or are you going to have to come up with a new
same setup. So at the moment, I mean, you guys are hearing it first. At the moment, we've got the MA, SF, and HA series, but we will be adding like a pump and glide wing. So for dock starting, downwinding, any of that, we're just in the process of testing that. We'll be releasing in March.
Yeah, so people will be all set if they get this set up.
It's all interchangeable. We have no intention of changing the system. People can buy into the North ecosystem and have confidence that you're going to be able to have any wing that you want, whether it's high speed, or you want to go surfing, or you want to go racing or free riding, freestyle with your buddies on the MAs. But I think the most popular model will definitely be the MAs.
Yeah. I was definitely really impressed in Portugal getting to try the new MAs, and what a generational improvement they really are.
Yeah, it's night and day. It's night and day.
Much slipperier through the water once you're up and going, but still
and they've got you notice they've got a lower aspect, so you can see here, like in comparison to SF wings, which are quite high aspect ratio. These are quite a narrower span, so they really do roll nicely. So you got this beautiful roll. In fact, some of the guys are even surfing them especially in the smaller sizes, prone surfing them, because it's just so much faster.
Yeah. So what's in your personal quiver back home in New Zealand right now?
Ooh, good question. My go-to for pretty much everything is I love surfing. So given when I'm not testing, I'm not working, given choice, and I just want to go riding, free riding, I go out on the 930 for lighter conditions, or the SF 830 for slightly higher, stronger wind conditions. You can see down the edge, there's a lot of shape in the leading edge, so it's got a lot of lift and works really well at low speeds. And I love cranking up wind, and then once I get upwind, I push my harness line away, and I just like riding bumps and lumps, and I feel like I'm surfing, so I feel I can crank as tighter, harder turns as I can on anything with the SF wings. And they love to be pumped. And they love to turn, they love to carve. And the breach recovery is just no issue. Like I've looked down a few times, half the wing's out of the water, it just doesn't matter. It reconnects the float. Water loves to connect to the shape. For some reason, Uli and the team and Daniel and guys have really nailed it. So
what do you do mass-wise? Do you have like a favorite mass size, or does that change?
Yeah, 72. I use a 72 cm mast in kind of shallower conditions, or if I'm just prone surfing in really small waves, like meaning sort of less than waist height, I'll go prone surfing or shallow location. We do have quite a shallow spot near my home when the tide goes out, but then most of the time 85. Like for pretty much most people, 85 cm mast is going to be the go-to. It's a great general size for winging. It seems to have enough clearance to cover, to get above chop and waves and that sort of thing, but it still is it's long enough that when you do crank the board over, you can really get you can really load into the wing and really get a tight carving turn. So yeah, a lot of fun. 700 fuse versus 600 fuse. I'd recommend most people start with 700, and especially for winging or going a little bit faster. But as you progress over time, trying a smaller 600 fuse just reduces your turning arc of radius of your turn, and it just changes the cadence a little bit when you're pumping, but definitely worth playing around with. But I'd start with 700, and if you're looking for reduced drag and a tighter carving turn, then you can definitely move to 600.
Yeah. Cool. You guys have a new deck pad on the boards that is unbelievably more user-friendly on people's knees when they're learning
so much.
How to wing.
We came back and people were like, we love your deck grip from last year, but it's really grippy, but it's too grippy, because they basically came away and people would sometimes take the skin off the back of their toes or their knees if you're just in a pair of board shorts. So we went to town this year and we made this new pressed, customized pad pattern, which has got a little less rubber in it, a little bit more EVA foam, which means it's a lot less abrasive on your body. It's still grippy, but it's just a lot more user-friendly if you're ever worried about taking the skin off your knees. Awesome range of boards. They all got a little bit of combination of carbon and glass. Scoop Mini, fantastic for dock starting if anyone's getting into that. The Scoop, traditional Scoop, this is a 135, but the 120 is probably our most user-friendly board. It kind of does wake, kite, tow, does all of these different sports, and it works really well for all of them. We use them for towing for friends. If you want to go out winging, you want a board that's super versatile, definitely go for the Scoop. You'll notice all of our boards come on the back with the M8 by 30 screws, and it tells you exactly what screw size, screw length you need for your board. I talked about that drop box system before. Really easy to quickly attach your foil and detach your foil, and it's not complicated. It's really simple engineering that gives you a really strong connection between the board and your foil, because there's no use having a system if it's quick to put in but it's a little bit sloppy and floppy, or it can mechanically break down over time. Not ideal. Everyone knows the Swell. It's our prone surfboard that also crosses over for winging. So if you're looking for a board that you can go for winging, you're a more advanced rider, a little bit more surf style, definitely go for the Swell. However, be aware that it's built with inserts and it's really strong, so you can jump it, you can loop it, flip it, land really hard on it, and you know that you're not going to bust your board. We've got an exceptionally low warranty rate for all of our boards. Really proud thing for us in the industry in comparison to others. We're really proud of that. You'll notice it's got a ridge running down here, so tactile feel. You can feel where your front foot is. It's really important for foiboards to feel where your board is. Slightly concave deck. You'll notice these grip rails on the side. If you're prone surfing, really easy to put your hands on either side of here and control the board, because you've got this giant big foil on the bottom of it. It's not like a surfboard where you can just do a pop-up with two flat hands on the top and jump up. You've got to wrestle that foil under you to make sure that it stays under the middle of your board. And this grip, this concave in the rail really helps you to grip onto the board. So crossover board, prone board, and predominantly for wave riding, the Seek. This is most people's absolute go-to. One of my favorite sizes is a 5.0 by 88 liters. I'm 92 kilograms. That's kind of my light wind board. But again, depends on your body size. You're a beginner, go for 30, 40 liters more. If you're then your body weight in kilograms. But if you're a sort of intermediate rider, then you can kind of match your literage with your body weight. So for me, being 92, 93 kilograms, I can get away with the 5. And then if you're looking for something a little bit more stable, then maybe a more advanced rider, then you can start to drop down 10, 20, 30 liters less than your body weight in kilograms. This year, you'll notice they've all got about 2 inches longer, so we've just lengthened them out just a little bit. They're fantastic for winging. The reason they're so good is because you see all this volume in the tail. A lot of our competitors' boards don't have any volume. When you're trying to get up onto foil, you want a board to be flat. You don't want to be pushing through the water at this angle. You want to be pushing along the top of the water so it releases quickly. So you can see that again, that volume is in the tail. Really clean release. When it touches down, you'll notice there's not a lot of concave or shaping in the nose of the board. So when your board touches down, if you're carving, turning, or you're going through a transition, a jibe or a tack, if you have a lot of shape in your nose, it'll bite and it'll drive forward and it'll probably throw you off. So what we've learned is to try and keep that front of the board as flat as possible, just a little bit of shape so you get water release, but keep that as flat as possible so that as you're jibing, tacking, turning, it's really easy. Biggest thing you'll notice about all the foil boards is there's a little riser here. It's an indicator, so you've got a really tactile feel on your heel. You'll be able to see, you can feel, without looking down, you can feel where your front foot is. It's really important to keep your front foot and foiling in the middle of the board. You'll notice there's a black, a light grey and a grey. This is an indicator for where, if you're not using foot straps, where should I put my back foot and where can I regularly reference it to. So you've got both a tactile and a visual way of referencing your foot positions. If you are using foot straps, fits in the back, it fits all the Y straps, it fits offset, it fits inline, so it covers every single combination you imagine. All the boards come with leash connection permanently previously attached. You'll notice they all come with drop box as well, which is pretty standard for is our standard for all of our foil boards. This cool little feature here tells you what length of screws that you can use in, and also ensures you can't lose it. We've worked really hard on finding the volume of the board for the right rider. Where your foot positions goes onto the board is really, really important. A lot of people, other brands, you can get your front foot in the foot strap, but you have to keep your back foot out. And that means you've got one foot in the foot strap and you're trying to pump yourself up onto foil. It's really difficult when your feet are together. So what we worked out was make sure we can put both feet into the foot straps. And that's that critical stage when you want to pump and pull yourself off into foil, you're already in the foot straps and it helps you to release up onto the water. The great thing about the North boards as well is that Uli and the team have calculated your foot position when you start is the same foot position that once you get up and riding, you've already got your feet locked into those foot straps and you're not having to trying to look down and find where your foot is to get into a foot strap. You're already in position. So we're really, really proud of that. Also, the balance point on our boards, you'll find that front foot's got a really nice push. If you want to push it down and want to start to pump, we've worked really hard on finding that sweet spot. And the best thing about all the North foil boards, in this track box system, you'll notice we have our heavier rider, lighter weight rider, or more front foot pressure, less front foot pressure. There's a guide. With North boards, you hardly have to move your foils your mast more than 1 or 2 cm or an inch at either end. In comparison to some of the other brands, it's always in the same place. We've made sure the center of lift and the front wing is in the same location to the mast position, to your foot strap position, to the volume on the board. So it's those critical 4 measurements. We've got the magic formula for that, which ensures that every single size works well. Volume-wise, really important to remember that if you're a heavier weight rider or a beginner, you definitely want to go 20, 30 litres more than your body weight. If you're an intermediate rider who's been riding for a little while, let's say like me, I'm 92 kilograms and I can get away with the 88 kg. It's around about the same volume as my body weight in kilograms. It's a really easy way to measure. If you're a more advanced rider, and let's say it's a 42 litre board and you're 75 kilograms, you can, as an advanced rider, you can always go down 10, 20, 30 litres in volume below your body weight in kilograms. So that's kind of the general guideline for all those. But we're really, really proud of foil boards. We've also got some cool little skatey carver board, which is great if you're ever getting into winging and you want to go and hit a car park on the tile seal. Great way to learn and get your tacking skills up. We got it in COVID. We kind of got locked down and we were desperate to get out riding. We couldn't go on the water, so we just grabbed the carver skateboards and said, let's make one. Balance board for those days, great Christmas present. Those days, if you're working in an office and you don't want to sit at a chair, you can sit on a balance board. Just keep those balance, keep those small motor skills, those small muscles in your body primed for when you go riding. This one's called the June. Hugh Pinfold. In fact, I'm going to let Hugh Pinfold tell you about it.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks, Mike, for walking us.
Pleasure.
All.
Oh, pleasure.
Super
absolutely.
Sick.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate the support.
What's the website address that people can go to?
northkb.com, and please check out any questions about foil. Please go have a look for the North Foil Rider's Guide. Really important. It's a step-by-step. We made it super easy for anyone to understand what is the right wing for you, or just customer service, or contact your local retailer.